Sheogorath is absolutely immortal and not a Daedric Prince. I will try to explain it as short as I can. It is crucial that I start with a cane. You see the cane of the Sheogorath, the one that we as player need. The cane obtains the divine powers from this little fountain that takes energy from the depths of the Shivering Isles. Sheogorath himself is not the source of that power, it is the realm. And guess what? The cane that player makes looks like this. An eye on a stick. It is the same thing not only in design but also in power.
I had intended to give you my staff, the symbol of my office. But life is gone from it, as it goes from me. It is now dead wood.
Even Sheogorath that player meets admits that one needs to have the staff in order to be Sheogorath. And because the staff is important for the Sheogorath player meets, it is reasonable to assume that he created it the same way. It means that he encountered another Greymarch and he is another mortal that had to create stuff just like the player. It is not exactly clear where does Sheogorath take his powers from, but the staff has its own magic, and for some reason Sheogorath cannot just will for the mortal champion to have his powers. The staff is not only just a symbol of the office. Without the staff, the person cannot be Sheogorath. They cannot sit upon the throne, they cannot stop time, they cannot control weather, they cannot summon golden saints and dark seducers. It is an important artifact that happens to also be the symbol of the office. Being a symbol of the office is not its only purpose. If it was possible to be Sheogorath without the staff, then the player would be a Sheogorath without the staff. Does a true Daedric Prince god require a tool to hold his ultimate position? Even in mortal realm, a king is a king even without the crown, and even if he doesn't sit upon his throne. The implement, the symbol of office, of power, is not the definition of power. The person himself is supposed to be that very definition. So the staff defines Sheogorath, not Sheogorath defines the staff. Now I will show you that Sheogorath is not Jyggalag. I know some might say, but Sheogorath transformed into Jyggalag. Well, let's give it a watch.
Sheogorath is dead! All shall crumble before Jyggalag!
Transformation looks like this. Something is supposed to replace the object of transformation, and Sheogorath was right inside the palace. Why didn't Jyggalag appear on his place? Because Sheogorath is not Jyggalag. He may think he is, but he's not. He is not even the one who starts the Greymarch. Let me prove this. Sheogorath gives player the attenuator of judgment and tells him to activate the Delian. Player takes it and the whole ordeal looks like this. Attenuator of judgment hits the crystals and the crystals start to resonate and emit some power. Knights of Order show up and guess what attracts them?
That was quite a battle. I hope you are uninjured. You've not heard the legends? How could that be? Those beings, as you call them, aren't beings at all. They are the soulless abominations known as the Knights of Order. Their attraction to the resonator isn't surprising. It was built from one of the obelisks that dot the isles they seem to have an affinity for.
Crystals are in place even before you meet Sheogorath. They just stay dormant. After the Attenuator of Judgment is attuned, crystals activate. If not the player, that wouldn't have happened. Knights of Order wouldn't be attracted. So it is not doing of Sheogorath, and the crystals don't disappear after the Greymarch is finished. Yes, we all heard what Jyggalag says.
The other princes, fearful of my power, cursed me with madness, doomed me to live as Sheogorath, a broken soul, reigning in a broken land. No, you have ended the cycle. You now hold the mantle of madness, and Jyggalag is free to roam the voids of Oblivion once more.
So we assume that Jyggalag is living and his presence is no longer going to be a thing. The book Standing Stones testifies that the crystals of order have always persisted on the Isles. If you wish, you may pause and read. This is the only literally documented source that testifies that the crystals are old and that they go deep and no one knows where they start. And the crystals remain after we defeat Jyggalag. It is the resonation of the crystals that causes forces of order to appear. Lies do take place in the lives of Daedra. We know that resonation of crystals attracted forces of order. We know that magic in the world of the Elder Scrolls is not random. Certain actions cause certain effects. And guess what? Player keeps Attenuator of Judgment in his possession and he becomes the new Sheogorath. If he is able to give Attenuator of Judgment to another person, then it will resonate with crystals of order and summon forces of order to the Shivering Isles, all anew. The crystals remain, Attenuator of Judgment also remains, so there is always a possibility of a new Greymarch. And guess what? You may play as a female Argonian, but in Skyrim, Sheogorath will be a seemingly Nordic or Breton man. We shall not debate about the race of Sheogorath from Skyrim, but simply outline the fact that he is not the same race as a player character from the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion that replaced the previous Sheogorath. If the player was an orc woman, the Sheogorath from Skyrim is not the orc woman. It means Sheogorath was replaced in the future yet again. And the new Sheogorath had to make a cane all anew. But one may object that Sheogorath in Skyrim doesn't have a cane as well. Well, excuse me, he doesn't have a Webberjack to give to us. Let us not speculate out of which bodily cavity he drags it out to give to player, but assume that he has Webberjack in his inventory slot. From the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion Shivering Isles, we know that having a staff is essential to be Sheogorath, so we can assume that Sheogorath from Skyrim simply has his staff in his inventory. So even after all crystals close, risk of new Greymarch is not diminished. In fact, it will happen. That cycle is not broken, despite what Jyggalag said. Thus, we have established that Sheogorath and Jyggalag are not one entity. The player is groomed into believing that Sheogorath and Jyggalag are one, but in truth, they are not. Greymarches will keep repeating, Sheogorath will keep being replaced, and he is not the source of his own power. Sheogorath is in fact mortal, because after you defeat Jyggalag you still can die. And because Sheogorath in Skyrim is not the same person, the same character from Oblivion, it is obvious that it is a new mortal. But some can say, you cannot kill Sheogorath from Oblivion. Well, first of all, he is an essential NPC, and thus you cannot verify his immortality by conventional means. But you can see certainly his death when he pops into non-existence and leaves nothing behind. It is not transformation.
He is gone, but hope is not lost. If the throne of madness remains empty when Jyggalag storms the palace, He will prevail. But there is a chance that the throne may not be empty. My duty now is to the realm. By serving you, I serve Lord Sheogorath. The only way to protect the realm from the Greymarch is to place you in the throne of madness.
Even Haskell serves not the person who holds the title Sheogorath, but the title itself. It's like serving the king. And when the person who holds the title dies, another king can be placed in the place of the dead king, right? This bold man doesn't care about the personality of Sheogorath. For him, Sheogorath is a title, and a person is just the content, the meaning that fills in the vessel of the position. He will serve anyone who can be Sheogorath, who can hold the title. And even though we established that Jyggalag lied, he still has spoken an important lead. One that further proves that Sheogorath is an obtainable title and not a fact of an entity. Not a name, not a Daedric species, but a station to which one can grow to.
This realm is yours. Perhaps you will grow to your station. Fare thee well, Sheogorath.
That was the acknowledgement of player becoming Sheogorath. Now we know that player never meets an immortal Sheogorath. We know that Sheogorath is replaceable and was replaced before the Shivering Isles DLC in Oblivion. The Sheogorath from Skyrim is not the same person as Sheogorath from Oblivion, so it is not hero of Kvatch, and it means Greymarch will keep repeating, and a holder of the title Sheogorath is not the source of his own powers. It is the realm itself, and the implement of drawing that power from the realm is the staff of Sheogorath. Although Haskell treats Sheogorath as a deity or a lord, he doesn't treat him as a Daedric Prince or a person or a name. It is a title. So ultimately, drawing power from elsewhere, like not having power originate from within the bearer of the power, being in fact a mortal, and using implements to draw power from that other source is just the exact way to become a god, like the tribunal did with use of Head of Lorkhan. The head is the source of power, the Kagrenak tools are the instruments to draw that power, and after Dagoth-Ur resurrection, pilgrimages to the Head of Lorkhan are no longer possible, and the tribunal gods cannot replenish their divinity. Well, interestingly, they themselves become the vessels of the divine power. Meanwhile, in case of Sheogorath, the cane is the vessel of the divine power and actually has to be recharged. The recharging takes place in this little fountain.
Sheogorath has fallen.
Yes, Sheogorath has fallen. The king has fallen. The emperor has fallen. Whatever title has fallen. And then, when we win, Jyggalag will acknowledge us as a new Sheogorath. Now please think about it. If you somehow could mental Jesus Christ, would it mean that you would become the person Jesus Christ? No, it would mean that Jesus Christ is a title that you can take. You cannot become a person. If you can become someone, that it is not someone but something, some concept, some idea, some title, role. Sheogorath is a role. Considering everything said, then why does the lore itself call Sheogorath a Daedric Prince? Well, the lore does not specify what a Daedric Prince is out of the following two possibilities. First, is it a Daedra that happens to be a prince, that happens to be the source of his or her or its own powers? A prince of Daedra, and the second, a ruler of a group of Daedra, which the Daedra appointed as their prince, as their leader. The prince for the Daedra. It is still a Daedric prince. So apparently Sheogorath is the latter, the Daedric Prince, which is the prince for the Daedra,